Well, Robin has become legendary with her name synonymous with high school sports in South Louisiana. I think all of us that are high school fans in South Louisiana have a debt of gratitude to Robin Fambrough for her years of covering so diligently the high school sports, in particular in South Louisiana. Thank you for what you've meant to high school sports, and congratulations.
Robin is amazing. I met her in 1991 when I started coaching, and she's probably done more for high school athletics than anybody that I know because she's covered everything. I would just like to tell her congratulations and thank you for everything you've done, not only for me, for my children, for all of the athletes, but for the whole entire state of Louisiana. Just everything that you've done to advocate for high school sports in our state. We wouldn't be where we are without you, Robin. Love you.
She is unbelievable with on-the-spot recall, and 10 times out of 10, she's pretty much spot on, and you can go to the bank with it. You know, her heart that she pours into it every day because she cares about her craft, and more than that, she cares about the people she's covering. Everyone's special, and that comes from her personality. So I would think just because of just her nature of who she is, you know, where she came from, and everybody matters. I couldn't be more proud, and it's definitely definitely humbling to think that she's earned her place in this hall. To see her hold her own amongst the giants in our state and always be respected is something, and this honor will only kind of further validate all the work she's ever done here.
You knew that when if you're in the stands and you're watching that game and Robin Fambrough walked through that door and sat down on press row, you knew that you were at the biggest game. There's one person on our staff who we cannot do without. I think we're all, to a large degree, or hopefully not a large degree, but to some degree, replaceable. She's not replaceable. She is absolutely the one person on our staff who's irreplaceable.
I think my mom is just so special. It was such an inspiration growing up, watching her do something that she loved and was so passionate about. I'm so lucky to have so many wonderful memories throughout my mom's career, and just growing up with having a mom who was a sports writer, from tagging along with her to work and playing under her desk. Just being able to be a part of and watch my mom's career has given me so many cool opportunities. I'm just so proud of her. And I think my parents' career as journalists and my mom's career as a sports writer, it's helped shape who I am. It's really, really remarkable to see and hear all of the lives that my mom has touched over the course of her career. She's just always stood firm in her beliefs and her strength in telling these stories for athletes, for their families, and it's just always been really admirable to watch. I have to say there's nothing that makes me prouder than being Robin Fambrough's daughter.
I think it's one of the best jobs ever. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the people who cover college and professional athletes have a great time and they really enjoy what they do. But high school athletics is different. I think it's more of a pure sports experience in that, there's not a scholarship involved. Now, you do have, obviously, pressure to win titles and pressure to do things depending on what school you play for, but in theory, most of the time you're playing for the love of the game. It's fun to chronicle their achievements, their stories. You get a mix of great things. I'm to the point now in my career where I've seen parents and children and just different brothers and sisters that have gone through at different times and played. And it's interesting to see all of that. And then fathers and sons that have coached. It's just a neat deal. I've always reminded people about Hall of Fame's one way, that sports writers cover Hall of Famers. I don't know that we necessarily are, unless you're talking about somebody like a legendary writer like a Red Smith, or, there's several you can pick. But I mean, it's a humbling honor to be mentioned and to be included in this group. I mean, it's an awesome group of inductees. I've served on the Hall of Fame committee for a number of years, and sat in on many meetings where we've discussed and selected people. And as I've said, I've seen a couple of generations go through. So it's kind of interesting to see also how the sports have evolved and all of that. But in terms of, would I say, oh, you'd be in the Hall of Fame? No, not really. Besides my husband Kevin and my daughter Megan, I would definitely, and I've actually had a conversation with him about this, my former sports editor, Clifford Butch Muir, who hired me at The Advocate, gave me a chance. And when I got hired in 1990, you didn't really have that many females. There were only a few of us out there who were doing it. It's nice to be able to be part of that, to be able to, again, help tell the story. That's what it's about. Everybody has a story. And we may not get to all of them, but we sure try to get to as many as possible. I was a kid who grew up going to high school games. That's another thing that maybe sets me a little bit apart. My parents worked for my brother's high school booster club, and when I was younger, I wasn't old enough to work in the concession stand, so I was just at the games, or being one of the kids who ran around under the bleachers, or whatever we did. And that was just a part of what we did, especially during basketball season. In Kentucky, basketball is the sport, and there were two schools that shared the high school for basketball, that court. And so we were usually at a game 4 nights a week. And my mother actually graduated from a high school that for many years held the national record for most boys basketball wins. They didn't have girls basketball then. And she would always remind me of that. And if they came, because it was more of a country school, if they came close enough, we went to see them play. So I guess you could say it was kind of always there. Again, I really believe that sports editors, the role is to cover Hall of Famers, but to be recognized in this way is so special, and just thank you to everyone.